left in a moment. Of course, there was another big penalty tiebreaker played this week in Europe for the European Cup final Wednesday night in Rome, where Liverpool played Roma and played them to a 1-1 tie. They played 30 minutes of overtime, not sudden death, but 30 minutes of overtime. No further scoring. It went to penalties, and Liverpool prevailed 4-2, I believe, even though they missed their first shot.
Wow.
Were behind 2-1 at one point and then hit 3 in a row. And the Rome players, in front of their hometown crowd in their home stadium, knocked 3 penalties over the top.
Romero will go first. Will shoot first for Fluminense on Amador. 2-2. These count as actual game goals in the international fashion. And again, the officials, Bob Evans, the referee, and linesman Bill Bryan and Bill Mansman will confer.
Romero, of course, scored a penalty already today, scored a goal from the field of play on Monday, and scored a penalty which was retaken in the shootout last time.
Keeper must have his feet on the goal line, and according to the law of the game, may not move until the ball is struck. The worry now is, or just the concern, putting Lopez, the Fluminense keeper, nearby to call him quickly, but not become a factor or a distraction. Everyone else is in the center circle. J.C. Romero. And Lorenzo Amador. The first of 5 for Fluminense, or until one team has the advantage. Amador with the save, guessing correctly. It will be retaken. We will have it retaken, and that is how upset Amador is. He does a flip. Barcelona irate.
I can't believe it. They got all kinds of players coming out on the field. From the far side, the Barcelona players really ought not to be doing this. This is a bad piece of sportsmanship, or breaking out of sportsmanship by them.
He clearly moved early, Seamus.
The referee has to make the decision. He's not going to put up with any of this stuff. He shouldn't.
Maradona just skived the ball about 40 feet up. And referee Robert Evans, yes, ruled a retaken penalty kick. Amador, the keeper, clearly moved forward at least a step and a half before the ball was guessed correctly. And watch the keeper now. Keep your eye on the goalkeeper.
Keep your eye on the keeper and the eye on the player shooting if you can, both at the same time. No question he does move it pad away from the goal. Frankly, it was not a well-hit penalty. It was, in other words, it gave the keeper too much of a chance to save anyhow, because it came up in the air, which is not a good move anyhow. It means the keeper has to dive less far than he will if it's skimming along the ground, and it was too close to him. So even had he not moved, he probably would have had a good chance to save it.
So Amador will face Romero again. J.C. Romero with a second lease on life and our first of 10 scheduled penalty kicks to decide third place in the Transatlantic Challenge Cup.
Referee will not allow it to be taken until the Barcelona players get off the field on the far side.
Amador upset. The tension is a bit draining for him after 110 minutes of full action and having already made what he believed to be a good save. He moved early again, but Romero choked, quite frankly, put it well wide.
Well, Romero obviously changing direction that time, but not quite as much the way he intended. Direction like about 180 degrees. Got way under that thing and knocked it 15 rows back into the crowd. Very peculiar shot by Romero.
And again, as we discussed Monday, because it was not even close to going on goal, even though the goalie moved early, nothing will be retaken. So, Lopez now in the nets for Barcelona, and he will face Huzios for Barcelona. Huzios had the hat trick on Monday. Lopez tensed. You saw Lopez with his gyrations in the net, maybe hoping to distract Huzios, get a Right center and hand on the ball didn't work. Gonzalez put it in. So Barcelona now leads at 3-2.
That's right, in the European fashion, of course, adding the goals in the shootout to the goals already scored in regulation, which was 2-2. It's now 3-2.
Julio, the captain. Save, but it will be retaken again. And Amador says, I don't want to say it, but I've got to say it, if we can make a rough translation. He says, what do you have to do on this tough town, this America, I think is what he's roughly saying.
Well, we'll see it again. Another badly taken shot. No question he's moving. He moves off the line. But what these players are all complaining about is the fact that these movements are very often allowed in Europe and in South America. A certain amount of movement is a pace. I mean, literally, by the textbook, it ought not be. But it is in actuality allowed. A certain amount of movement is permitted because the keeper has essentially no chance. It ought not to be by rules, as I said. And the referee here is calling it strictly by the book.
So, for Fluminense to stay in it, rifled in by Julio, and again movement, but no need to retake this one. So it is 3-3. Barcelona does have the advantage on the Gonzalez penalty kick.
Well, no mistake with this one. He just simply buries it up in the roof of the net. That's one of the theories of penalty kicking, Bob. You just drive it as hard as you can. And, of course, in the regular field of play, even if you miss, you may get a rebound. No rebounds, of course, can be converted here.
Magico Gonzalez to give Barcelona a 1-goal advantage after 2 rounds of the shootout. It is 3-3 game score, but this is for Barcelona to have the even number of attempts, if you will, the bottom of the inning. In a baseball sense. Right along the ground. So Barcelona has the advantage as Lopez guessed incorrectly.
Well, I think that's the best way to take it. Just fake a little bit to one side and then push it away to the other. Along the ground, the keeper has no chance whatsoever if that ball is skimmed along the ground into the back of the net, the back corner of the net. He just simply can't make it, can't get over there fast enough.
Well, Paulinho, and again, Fluminense trailing, as you'll note, the wide shot by Romero in their first attempt. Paulinho inside the left post, past Amador.
So we're tied again.
What?
4 apiece, but bottom half.
At the edge, yes.
Yep. Here comes Diego Maradona, taking maybe his last shot on goal in a Barcelona shirt, and who's going to call this one if he misses it?
4-4 is the score. Third penalty kick attempt for Barcelona. Maradona. Just inside the post to the right of Lopez, and so it is 5-4 Barcelona.
Again, as I said, the easiest way to do it is just take a little one way and then push it the other. If you hit hard enough along the ground to the post, to the corner, it's going to be physically impossible for the keeper to get down there and save it without moving early and guessing right.
Washington now for Fluminense, which again needs every goal now because they missed on the first one by Romero. Amador on the nets for Barcelona. Washington over the top. So Barcelona with their 4th attempt. The game was tied at 5-5.
Looks like it goes right down the middle of the assumption the keeper's going to guess some way, and he does guess to his right, but the ball was stroked right down the middle into the roof of the net. A bit risky, but it worked.
And now Jimenez. Jimenez gives Barcelona again the advantage, so each team with 4 attempts, and Barcelona leads the match 6-5.
And this one opting for the upper corner, not the lower corner, but he plays it wide enough so that the keeper cannot reach out a hand and touch it away. Now a miss here on this fifth shot by Fluminense, and it's over.
Leomir will take it.
Is it number 5? Yes, you're right, number 5.
Leomir de Souza, the 22-year-old wing defender, actually in the midfield today. He must score for Fluminense, which he does. But now Barcelona with an attempt to clinch it. Washington has a word away from the action for the next shooter for Barcelona, as that one went through for Leomir. As Canizares was advancing, Washington came out. Lord knows what he said to him, but he did have a word of advice from his foe, from Fluminense.
The lines, the referee and the goalkeeper here doing a little bit of one-upmanship there, talking to the shooter. So Canizares, it's all up to him. He scores, it's over.
Levity out there. Save! It will be retaken. We hate to say it. Now the onslaught is on, and now Fluminense is just
not a very well
over the ref.
Not a very well hit shot, but if two can be called up,
how seriously are they taking this? That's an honest question on my part. I really wonder.
Well, the keeper did move again, I think, but once again, how much is permitted, how much not? The Brazilian side really can't complain because they've had a couple of retakes themselves through Romero and Julio. Romero missed his retake, and Julio scored his.
So Canizares for the match again. It'll be retaken. Canizares lighthearted out there, and he and Lopez a few words back and forth. This is for the match, with the Cosmos Udinese in the championship match to follow. You watch enough of these, and the NASL system at the 35-yard line shootout makes a lot more sense when the goalie can't move, and that element of controversy is simply abolished. Lopez comes out.
A little bit of a Shep messing in Lopez. Remember, Shep in the Olympic game took his shirt off in a goal in Mexico and threw it down and so forth, and so upset the shooter that he hit over the top.
And Canizares is in, and that's the match. Well, he stifled his laughter long enough to plant the penalty kick and give Barcelona third place in the Transatlantic Challenge Cup in a penalty kick shootout that clearly was not to the delight of either side, even though Barcelona will go home with a third-place medallion. Canizares.
Keeper moving more than any keeper has moved so far, and Canizares not bothered by it, but slots it in the corner. And a 7-6 victory by Barcelona over Fluminense, and so Fluminense has lost to 2 penalty shootouts in their 7 days, or 6 or 7 days here in the New Jersey, New York area. And Barcelona gets a little consolation out of winning the third-place game by a score of 7-6, winning 5-4 on penalties in the penalty shootout.
So Barcelona winning third place in this Transatlantic Challenge Cup. Fluminense, the